Welcome to today's Explainer. I was recently digging through some incredibly fascinating source material that completely tears down something most of us just assume is impossible. We're talking about building a $10 million business literally from scratch and doing it with zero starting capital. Seriously, zero. Today we're going to dive right into this roadmap together, looking at the exact mechanics, the mindset, and the milestones you need to go from absolute zero to a massive compounding asset.
So, what if you don't need venture capital? What if you don't have a trust fund, rich parents, or a massive bank loan to get your foot in the door? Well, the material we're unpacking today totally shatters that old school way of thinking. In today's economy, being broke at the start, it's honestly just a minor detail. What you actually need is a highly valuable skill, a totally bulletproof strategy, and, of course, relentless execution.
Right out of the gate, we've got to talk about a massive paradigm shift. The difference between hard work and smart work. Look, society always tells us that working hard equals getting rich, right? But traditional hard work usually just means trading your time for a set amount of money. It's like being a hamster on a wheel. You're sweating, you're running, but you're not actually building any underlying assets. Smart work, on the other hand, is all about building systems. It's like planting a seed and setting up an automatic sprinkler system so your wealth actually compounds while you're sleeping. It's a total game changer in how you value your own energy.
Okay, so here is the exact roadmap we'll be exploring today to hit that crazy $10 million mark. 1. The hard work myth. 2. Starting with $0. 3. Stop selling your time. 4. The smart work framework. 5. The 10 million roadmap. And 6. Habits, mistakes, and action. Let's just jump right in, shall we?
Section 1. The hard work myth.
We really have to ask ourselves a pretty tough question here. Why do so many folks work these grueling 60-hour weeks for decades, yet completely fail to build actual wealth? Well, it comes down to these super common wealth traps. The absolute biggest one? Trading time for money. If your paycheck is strictly tied to your hours, your earning potential is completely capped, right? Because obviously there are only 24 hours in a day. Throw in a lack of high-value market skills, the paralyzing fear of just getting started, and that classic trap of waiting around for the perfect idea, and you basically guarantee you'll work yourself to the bone without ever building real leverage.
Moving on to Section 2, starting with $0. So if we aren't trading time for an hourly wage, how on earth do we actually start a business with empty pockets? Well, we do it by tapping into the new economy. The internet has literally rewritten the rules of the game. Today, you have access to tools that, honestly, used to cost millions of dollars to develop. By leveraging things like AI, social media distribution, global freelancing platforms, and digital products that cost $0 to make, you don't need a physical factory anymore. You just need a laptop and a decent Wi-Fi connection.
The source material lays out this brilliant, highly actionable 5-step process that costs absolutely nothing to start. Step 1, learn one valuable skill. Just one. Say AI automation, for example. Step 2, practice it every single day. Step 3, build a portfolio to show off your workflows. Step 4, reach out and offer to do some free work for local businesses in exchange for a glowing testimonial. And finally, Step 5, use those exact testimonials to land your very first paying clients. It's this incredibly simple, zero-cost loop that's powered entirely by your own hustle.
All right, Section 3. Stop selling your time.
Hitting that 5th step and landing clients is really just the starting line. Now you have to transition from being a freelancer to an actual business owner. And the absolutely crucial concept here is leverage. Leverage is basically your ability to use systems, automation, and delegation to multiply the output of your work without increasing the time you put in. It is literally the secret to buying back your time. Because look, without leverage, you just own a job. But with leverage, you own a real business.
To actually make this happen, you've got to completely shift what you're offering. You need to stop selling your hours and start selling systems. Think of it kind of like a recipe. Once you dial in a perfect, repeatable process for whatever service you provide, you can hire other freelancers to follow that exact recipe. Because your system guarantees high quality every single time, you can dramatically increase your prices, all while physically removing yourself from the day-to-day operations.
Which brings us to Section 4, the smart work framework. This is where we start looking at actually scaling up and building an empire. The source compares 3 really popular models so we can understand the unique perks and risks of each path.
First up, the agency model. This is awesome for fast cash flow, but it definitely requires a lot of manual labor and managing people. Second, we have SaaS, or software as a service. Now, this offers incredible scale, but it comes with really high technical risk and a ton of upfront development time. And third, digital products. These boast massive profit margins, but they rely heavily on you already having a pretty large audience to sell to. Understanding these trade-offs is absolutely crucial before you pick your lane.
But hey, regardless of the model you end up choosing, the core elements of this smart work framework stay exactly the same. To make any business scalable, you need a very specific mix of ingredients. You need leverage, automation, and delegation to handle the heavy lifting. You need ironclad systems to keep quality high. You absolutely need a brand, an audience, and a solid network to generate leads. And finally, compounding assets, meaning things you build once that just keep paying you over and over again.
Next up, Section 5, the 10 million roadmap.
All right, we talked a lot of theory. Let's talk reality for a second. $10 million. I really want to ground us here by just looking at the sheer magnitude of that number. The source material is incredibly clear on this point. Do not, under any circumstances, expect overnight success here. Building a business of this size requires years of learning, relentless execution, and constant adaptation. Make no mistake, this is a marathon, not a quick 30-day sprint.
So let's look at a realistic structural map for hitting that massive number. Year 1 is purely about getting your head down and learning the skill. By year 2, you're out there freelancing and actually securing clients. Year 3, you transition into an agency model and start bringing on a team. Year 4, you take everything you've learned and package it into digital products. Year 5 is all about growing a massive personal brand to drive down your customer acquisition costs. And year 6 through 10, well, that's when you scale internationally, hire top-tier leadership, and aggressively invest your profits. Now, obviously, timelines are going to vary widely for everyone, but this really gives you a clear picture of the multi-year commitment we're talking about.
And finally, Section 6, habits, mistakes, and action.
So how do you actually survive that grueling decade-long grind without burning out? Let's rapid fire through the absolute biggest mistakes that destroy new entrepreneurs way before they ever reach scale. Ready? Chasing shiny objects and jumping from trend to trend. Wasting money on expensive fake guru courses instead of actually doing the work. Quitting the second things get hard. Having zero consistency. Completely ignoring what your customers are trying to tell you. And of course, building things without even validating if the market actually wants them. You need to avoid these at all costs, seriously.
To counter those traps, you've got to deliberately build real millionaire habits. We're talking a steady diet of continuous reading and learning, the hardcore discipline to do deep, distraction-free work. You absolutely must shift your brain to long-term thinking, prioritize your physical health so you actually have the energy to do this, and actively, constantly build your network. Combine all of that with laser focus and decisiveness, like the ability to just make a choice and move forward quickly, and you've got the exact engine you need to power through this entire roadmap.
Let's make this incredibly practical right here, right now. Here is a 30-day action plan that you can literally start the second this explainer ends. Week 1, choose one valuable skill. Seriously, just pick one. Week 2, practice it every single day until you're practically obsessed with it. Week 3, put together a small, super clean portfolio of mock-up work. And Week 4, start contacting potential clients, offer them some free value, and then refine your pitch based on their feedback. Boom, 30 days.
I want to leave you with this final, incredibly provocative thought straight from the source material. Your future won't change because you watch this. It will change because of what you consistently do after watching it. You now know the exact difference between hard work and smart work, and you literally hold the 30-day blueprint right in your hands. But here's the real question you have to answer today. 10 years from right now, will you be selling systems that work for you, or will you still be out there selling your time? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I will see you in the next one.